Welcome to the Enlightenment Academy, where the journey of discovering your inner magic begins. In a world filled with endless possibilities, we invite you to explore the depths of your being and unlock the mysteries of your true potential. Through insightful teachings, transformative practices, and enlightening conversations, we empower you to access the brilliance that resides within you. Join us as we embark on a path of self-discovery, empowerment, and spiritual awakening. Are you ready to tap into the infinite wellspring of magic within you? Here is your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. How are you today? If you are out there and you are watching and joining me live, I would love to hear from you. You can give me a hi, you can thumbs up, blow me a kiss, whatever. I take it all. So I just love knowing who's out there and who I get to talk to today. Stepping into your psychic abilities. So, well, I'll be a little broad in general, but I do believe it to be true. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Simon. That everybody is psychic. It's a different way of also saying that. Hi, Christina. Welcome. You are all very aware. So, very, very aware, right? So, and what are you aware of? I wonder. So, where do I want to start today? Well, let's start here. One of my favorite tools is lowering our deepest barriers, lowering our walls and barriers so that we can be aware. We like walls and barriers we think are protecting us, but they're actually just separating us from our awareness, from our psychic abilities. So we'll lower the walls and barriers, push them down, pull them down, destroy and uncreate them. And if you want to pick them back up again, you can pick them back up again, but just try. Just experience what it would be like to have no walls and no barriers right now. So we do quite a bit of different kinds of psychic development classes, becoming a medium, channeling, tarot, all sorts of fun stuff, right? And in one of those classes, I've had a gal who, she did this practice of lowering her walls and barriers. And before, when she would do readings, she would get it would kind of be sporadic and it'd be kind of sketchy and like not really, I don't know if sketchy was the right word, but kind of like just not clear and not a very clear channel. And when she started lowering her walls and barriers, and she does it repeatedly all day long, which is beautiful. I'm excited that somebody took that tool and ran with it. But she says now her readings come in so much more clear, and there's like no doubt in her mind that this is the message and the information that she's receiving. I was like, how cool is that, right? Walls and barriers can also be the things that we think protect us from each other. Like if I'm like, I start most of these with no walls, no barriers, because I can tell that even I have walls and barriers that go up. I'm like, oh, suddenly I'm on television. Oh, I gotta like be all proper and have it all figured out and be all perfect, and which I do not, by the way. I am not perfect and I do not have it all figured out. And but then I'm like, well, what do I talk about? So if you ever see me and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm talking about, like suddenly I'm like, what am I talking about? Am I talking about something today? I will lower my walls and barriers and I'll have you all do it with me, because why not, if we can all do it together. But lowering my walls and barriers, and suddenly, did you notice as soon as I lower my walls and barriers, now I can't shut up? It's a great tool for just about anything. But it's like you literally are opening the channel to the information. And hi, Chris, welcome. And what I like to call the consciousness stream that is out there and available to everybody. And there's literally like a stream running along, and you can choose to like plug into it, pull information out of it. You know, what do you like? There's just this infinite resource that's available to everybody. Well, you can say that while you're like, okay, how's that like psychic development? Well, if you think about it, like we're stepping into your psychic abilities, if you are willing to be aware of everyone and everything all around you all the time, then guess what? You're psychic. But if you're thinking, oh, I'm better off if I'm hiding, or if I'm holding, or if I've got walls and barriers so that I'm protected and I'm separate from everyone, that actually separates you from what you know. And so now just take a moment for yourself and go, what do I know that I know? What do you know that maybe nobody else knows? And is stepping into your psychic abilities stepping out from your walls and barriers? Hi, Bernie. Welcome. Stepping out from your walls and barriers so that you can step into that consciousness stream, that awareness stream, the place where all information exists. You can even talk about like the Akashic Records. Akashic Records are where all information exists. But isn't all information exists? See, this is, I think, a common misconception is people go, oh, it's only available to some people. That's true in that it's only available to people who choose it. Now, you can be somebody who never wants to tap into your psychic abilities and your awareness and be an accountant or a plumber. There's nothing wrong. I'm not judging accountants or plumbers at all. We need them. We very much need them in our lives. I just got off the phone with an accountant and tax planner. I was like, definitely need those in our lives, right? But anybody can be more aware. Anybody can be psychic. But if they choose not to be, that's okay. You can just, it's literally just a choice. You can turn the switch on, turn the switch off. So what do you want to choose? Do you desire to tap more into your psychic abilities? And if so, are you willing to lower your walls and barriers and be more aware? If you're more aware, sure, you're going to be more aware. And I hear this a lot where people are like, oh, I don't want to be more aware because I'll be aware of the bad and the ugly. Yes, thank you. For anybody who wants to call in and ask questions about anything to do with anything about psychic development, anything like that, you can call me at 202-570-7057. The phone number's in the comments, I believe. I guess depending on what page you're watching it from. But so stepping into or out of, oh great. All pages can see the 202-570-7057. Thank you. So stepping into your abilities or your awareness and no walls, no barriers, you will be aware of the crap too, right? Bernie says she has it switched on. Awesome. Hi, Bob. Welcome. Simon sending me some emojis that I can't quite see, but thank you, Simon. So, no walls and no barriers. Are we going to be available of the good, the bad, and the ugly? Absolutely. But life is all of it. Your awareness is aware of all of it. You're aware of when somebody walks into a room and is not having a good day. Right? You know when that person isn't having a good day. But then you also know when somebody's about to have something amazing happen for them. And it may very well even be the person that's having a bad day that you're now aware of. But because you have no walls and no barriers and you're willing to be aware of all of it, you can also perceive that, yeah, hey, they might be struggling right now. but there's a tipping point. There's something that's about to tip for them. And how cool is that? Right? Cool. Thank you guys for figuring out about, like, this is the live stream working. Okay, good. I'm glad I got a good connection. Okay, so what do you guys want to know about stepping into your psychic abilities? You can, if you're not going to call in, you can call in 202-570-7057, or you can type it in the comments. Awesome. Simon, can you remind me? Sorry, there's been a lot of questions in the group. I'm happy to talk about it, but if you could drop the question here in the comments, then I can definitely address it happily. Oh, yes, that's so good. Yes, absolutely, Simon. Thank you. So, yes, and this is fun, Simon, because you're going to let me ruffle some feathers. I absolutely think you should charge for it. But that's me. And you have to find what's true for you. That actually is what's true. But yeah, and like, okay, so there's a couple, yeah, because you have two sides to that. Absolutely. So I'll address the charging for it. So let's say you're aware, you have your psychic abilities, they're already turned on, you're using them, you're thinking that, okay, I'd like to do readings, or I'd like to contribute to others, and shouldn't I do it out of the kindness of my heart? You can. It's a choice. That, number one, is a choice. I do not think I have the answers for everybody. You have to find what's true for you. So please, if I say something and it's not true for you, throw it away. But what I have found is if I do not charge for my services, people cannot really receive what I have to offer. They'll receive a tiny bit of it, maybe, but when I actually charge for my services, they receive so much more. They apply so much more. They can receive a lot more. And that's just been my experience. I tried the whole completely donation for every service that I offered, and I've done a lot of different things: massage, hypnotherapy, readings, you name it. And when I went donation only, it was like crickets. Like, I barely had anybody take me up on that donation only thing. So I was like, okay, that donation only thing does not work. But as soon as I started charging, and sometimes when I increase my prices, people actually get more value out of what I'm offering. So that has been my experience, and a lot of my friends' experiences as well. So take that with a grain of salt. Do with it what you'd like. And I guess it also depends on, are you trying to make a living out of it? If you want to just do it on the side as donation, or do it for free because it's your side hustle, that's cool. But psychic development and classes and readings and all that stuff is actually my career. Like, I don't have a side job. I don't have a sugar daddy. So I also know that I have to take care of my well-being and charge for it. So again, that's my experience. Now on the scratch offs, so Simon had won by running his hands over the scratch offs. He had won $10, just so people have a context of what I'm talking about. And so for the scratch offs, my opinion, my point of view, again, throw it away if it doesn't work for you, is the universe is always trying to gift to you. And it's always trying to contribute to you. Because especially, no matter whether you're doing it for a fee or right, but you're contributing to others. Like, I do a lot of free stuff. This is a free live, right? I do a lot of free stuff too. And I have things that I charge for. But I know that the universe wants to gift to me when I'm gifting to others as well, whether it's charged or not, right? So there's a simultaneity of gifting and receiving in the world, and the simultaneity of gifting and receiving happens all the time. The sun is shining on the leaves are receiving the sunlight, the leaves are letting off oxygen so that we can breathe. Like it's a simultaneity of gifting and receiving around us all the time. So for me, when the universe gifts you money, like you find it on the ground, or you win it in a scratch off, or somebody randomly gives you a free coffee, or that's, to me, that's the universe gifting me. And I'm just always so grateful for whatever I'm receiving for that. So I hope that helps, Simon, and contributes to what you were asking. So cool. And as far as what would you charge and how much you have, that you definitely have to find for yourself. I mean, you know, I think when I started a long time ago, I started at like $35, $75. My readings now are $150, but sometimes I run specials for people to get a discount. So it's just up to you. And follow what's light for you. What's light for you is what's true for you. So if it's light and fun for you, then do that. And then if it gets heavy or wonky, then don't do that. Hi, Victoria. So wait, we had somebody. Cool. Sorry, just getting questions. How do I strengthen my abilities? Also a great question. Hi, Laura, welcome. So strengthening your abilities. Well, have you tried the no walls and no barriers? There's a trick question. So if you weren't here for the beginning of this call, I was talking about no walls and no barriers. Just try going around in the world with no walls and no barriers and see what that creates. And I know that this is completely opposite. You're going to find that about most of the time I'm talking. It's completely opposite of things that you've learned. I learned all the other stuff too. I learned that I should do boundaries, meaning I should protect myself. I learned that I should protect myself. I do believe that you should have healthy boundaries, but that doesn't mean a wall and a barrier. Protecting ourselves is not being a doormat, but you also don't have to have an energetic wall between you and what you're aware of. So my number one tool for helping people enhance their abilities is to lower their walls and barriers. Allow yourself to be aware of everyone and everything and see what becomes available in that awareness. So I wonder if you play with that, what that might create. And thank you for the question. Okay, so I hope that contributes. Chris says, how do we know if thoughts are ours or something else projecting into our minds? Also interested in Kundalini Ascension and how this increase impacts their gifts positively or not. Cool. Okay. So I'll start with the first one. Thank you for the questions. How do we know if our thoughts are ours or something else projecting into our minds? Well, I talk about this a lot, and I think it's important to remember no one and nothing is more powerful than you. So if you are getting information or getting something else projecting into your mind, it's only because you're allowing it to, and you can stop it. But I always ask the question, truth, is this mine or someone else's or something else? If it's something else, return to sender. Throw it away. It's not yours. But just ask the question, truth, is this mine or someone else's? And we are psychic SpongeBobs. So we're walking around and aware of everyone and everything else and everybody's emotions and everybody's thoughts and feelings. So a lot of your thoughts, and in Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas says 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not yours. So that's a lot, right? So you could just be like, okay, that's not mine, return to sender. Not mine, return to sender. But the key is that you're just asking the question, is this mine or someone else's? And if it's somebody else's, then you don't have to do anything with it. You can just return it. So I hope that contributes. And then interested in Kundalini Ascension and how it impacts our gifts positively or not. Well, Kundalini Ascension is in another term for it would be called an awakening. Does it enhance your psychic abilities? It can, for sure. It can also it basically just turns the light switch on, turns on your awareness. But everybody's ascension is different. So I can't really speak to a general ascension and like what would it do for you. But it really is just like you getting activated, or if you've ever studied like Reiki, you get attunements. A Kundalini ascension is like an activation. It's like an attunement, and you're vibrating at a different frequency. And does that make you more aware? Probably. Would it enhance your gifts? Probably. But again, you'd have to see what it is for you. I've had other people that their awakening just allowed them to see everything in their life that was false and wasn't true for them, and that they were able to start choosing a life that worked for them, even if nobody else understood it. So that can also be an outcome. But I think in general, anything that we do that allows us to become more aware will enhance our psychic abilities, because psychic is awareness. Like the word psychic means to be more aware, right? So what are you aware of? So hopefully that contributes. Chris, thank you again for your questions. I love it, guys. Thank you for your questions. Super helpful. Also easier to talk. So, Christina, I'm finally admitting I have some. Yeah, great. You're welcome, Chris. Joseph, awareness is awesome. Yeah, right. Christina, I'm finally admitting I have some natural abilities. They've gotten stronger as I've gotten older. What should I do next with it? Lower walls and barriers actually sounds like a good suggestion. Yep, absolutely. Because I will say this, and just to piggyback on that, a lot of times when we start to become more aware, what do? No, wait, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to see that. I don't know if I want to be that. I don't know if I want to be aware of that, right? And that's okay. You don't have to, even if you're having abilities and you're starting to open them up, and then suddenly you get like second thoughts and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want that or not. Cool. That's okay. But still lower your walls and barriers and just be like, okay, I'd like, universe, can you take it a little slower with me if that's what you need? There's a great tool out there with Access Consciousness. It's called the bars. It's 32 points on the head. And it literally is, my mom calls it a brain colonic. But if you're feeling stressed or you're feeling tension, it's a great way, or you're just in your head a lot, overthinking things, it's a great way to like reset and relax. So I definitely would recommend getting your bars run. You can go to accessconsciousness.com to find people in your area that actually run bars, and you can get your bars run. It's a tool I honestly don't feel like I could live without. So, yes. So lowering your walls and barriers, and they will probably get stronger as you get older. Part of that actually happens because when we get older, and I was speaking for myself, but as I've gotten older, I really care less about what other people think about me. And for a long time, I really cared what other people thought. So I didn't even tell people I was a psychic medium because I didn't want everybody to think of me as the crazy lady or the weird one. But now I don't care. Everybody knows I'm weird, whatever. So I can be weird and crazy, and you don't have to get me. It's okay. But I'm older now, so I don't really care what people think of me. But in the old days, man, did I care what people thought of me. So that's the other part of walls and barriers, is we put up walls and barriers to separate ourselves from others so people don't judge us. So again, when you lower your walls and barriers, you're going to be aware of people's judgments, but it's just energy. It just gets to flow through you, flow past you. And sure, you're going to be aware of it, but when you have walls and barriers, the energy gets thrown at you. It actually sticks you. So yeah, a lot of people haven't. It is in like 170 different countries. It's been around for almost 40 years, but it's called Access Consciousness, the bars. You can Google it. There's lots of free videos on YouTube, or you can go to their website, and there was a neuroscientist that did a study. This is really good for people who are into metaphysics, meditation, stuff like that. And he said that getting your bars run 1 hour to like a 60 to 90 minute session is the equivalent of meditating for 10 hours. I'm like, as somebody who's meditated for a very long time, I do actually prefer to get my bars run. I still meditate and I get my bars run. So I do both. Christina, I hope that contributes, and yeah, try the no walls, no barriers for a while. I'd be excited to hear how that goes for you. So. Laura says, I have a problem second guessing my intuition. I'm going to address that, but we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just 2 minutes or 1 minute, really quick, and then I'll address the rest of the questions.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome forward, everyone. I love all the comments about bars. Some people have never done it, and yep, lots of feedback on how amazing it has been for many people. So, yeah. So I have a problem second guessing my intuition. This is somebody in the comments for question. This is Laura. Anybody else? I'm sure Laura is the only one out there that doubts, second guesses their intuition. I even still do. Not as much anymore, but I still do. And it's just practice. I would honestly say that just over the years, I just trust that whatever it is that I'm aware of, maybe I don't decipher that information or translate that information correctly, but I know that I was aware of something. So like when you're doing a reading for somebody and maybe they don't get it and they're like, it doesn't make sense to me, I always just say, well, maybe it will in the future. And then I leave it at that. But I trust that whatever I said to that person plants a seed of something that they're going to become aware of at some point. And I'm probably never going to hear from them again or ever know what that was, but I just trust that what was said needed to be said. So trusting yourself is probably one of the, lowering your walls and barriers would be number one, and then learning to trust yourself or choosing to trust yourself would be probably number two. Because again, we all have capabilities, we all have psychic abilities, we all have superpowers, we all have gifts, capacities. You have all of that, and just practicing and using it and being grateful for it. One of my key things in changing anything is to not judge it. Judgment and gratitude can't exist in the same space. So if you're just grateful for the intuition, even if you don't translate it or describe it correctly, at least you trust that somehow that's going to work itself out. And there's a lot of communication. I think this is really important for people who are aware, is there's a lot of communication that happens organically, but also happens energetically. I would honestly say I'm more of an energetic communicator being. I can sit in a room with a bunch of people and they all relax around me, but I don't just talk about nothing. Like, I ask questions and I get to know them, but I'm not just like filling space with talking. Now, there's nothing wrong with people who talk, but I know that I communicate more energetically. Like, and that's just something that I have as a superpower. So there's a lot of communication that's happening in the world that's energetic. So how much healing happens when you're with people, sharing your intuition or sharing your, doing readings or whatever you're doing for people, but it doesn't make sense to them cognitively, but they leave your presence feeling better. So was it about what they came to you for cognitively, or was it actually for the energy exchange that they knew they'd get by getting a reading with you or hanging out with you or whatever, right? So we get so much in our heads and head trip about stuff that's kind of irrelevant. It's just like, does everybody feel better? Great. Then awesome. Does people walk away feeling worse? Well, maybe, but are they feeling worse because they actually were triggered and you planted a seed that makes them actually have to like look at something that they weren't willing to look at before? Maybe that too. And the key in that is to remember that the universe is always conspiring for you and with you and never against you. So even if your intuition or your psychic abilities don't make sense to you, is it working out in your favor? Question maybe to ask yourself. Anyway, so I hope that contributes. Laura, let me know. Yep, Victoria says, yes, 60 plus. I spend no time thinking about what others think of me. That's awesome. I know, isn't it great? And wouldn't it be great if we actually, like, if you're younger than 50 and you don't have this awareness, well, we're inviting you can actually have it now in your teens, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. You don't have to wait till you're 50 or 60 to not care. So you can not care now. So Christina said she Googled the bars. That's awesome. Cool. Yep. Love getting my bars run, no more brain chatter, and I have more clarity to channel spirit. Yep, Amara, that's awesome. Cool. And then please ignore anything from Soothin Mosda's crystals, because I am not offering you readings. So we've, looks like we gotta have one every live. So, anybody else have any questions about stepping into your psychic abilities. And if not, that's okay. We'll do a meditation. But I just want to give everybody one last comment. Okay, so thank you. I second guessed my intuition and the consequence was bad. I'm so scared it will happen more. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so, but can you possibly look back at whatever that was and did it actually work out in your favor? Maybe not in the moment, and it may have seemed it might have seemed like difficult in the moment, but did it actually work out in your favor? Meaning, did you learn something from it? Did you gain something from it? It's easy to look at something that happened that we think is negative or bad and make it like that somehow you're wrong. And you're not wrong. We are constantly making choices and learning as we go. So this, I'm going to use the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you have never heard of the Clearing Statement from Access Consciousness, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, but it's really just a kind of a magic eraser, and it's great for facilitating, stuck points of view and stuff. So for anybody who's been second guessing their intuition and second guessing something because it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to or that you thought it should, can we destroy and uncreate that, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. Cool. And anywhere where you're making yourself wrong, can we destroy and uncreate that too, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. I'm going to assume you said yes. So, yeah, please ignore all the messages coming through. POC, POD, and HOC. Yep, cool. So, Laura, do you more space, less space, something else? How are you feeling now? Okay, great. Awesome. I hope that contributed. That's really great. Thank you for those questions. And if anybody has the balls next week to call in person, I would love to talk to real people. Not that you're not real by texting, but you know what I mean. I like talking to voices, but I'm glad you're feeling better, Laura. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and dive into our visualization meditation for today. And before I forget, and we'll post the link again. We did share it early on, but I wanted to give you some context for it. So on Thursday evening, this week, I am doing a free webinar on psychic development, and we'll dive more into psychic development. So, so if you can make it to that, we'll post the link in the comments and you can sign up for the free webinar that comes on Thursday. I'd love to have you. That will be a Zoom and I'll get to actually see your faces and we can interact a little bit more personally. So that would be really great. Great to have you. Okay, wait, so we won't, so somebody's researching bars right now and we'll call next week. That's awesome. That's great. That's Rachel. Hi. And then Catherine said, I have a question about ethics, not written in stone, case by case basis. What if you know something pretty negative and they need to know this thing? Do you tell? Ooh, that's a loaded question, Catherine, but I'm happy to, I love loaded questions. There's two parts to this. So one of the things I will always ask is, can they receive it? It's actually a superior point of view that we believe we have to tell everybody our truth or tell everybody the truth. That's actually not a kindness to anyone. Asking yourself if they can hear it, if if they can receive it before you say it. You can also ask them for permission, like, hey, I have some information. Are you open to me sharing it with you? But then you give them choice and you're not like kind of throwing up on them. Like, when I first became a clairvoyant medium when I was 30, I was doing massage. So I would be doing massage and then spirits would walk in the room and I'd be like, I don't know what to do. So I just say, hey, somebody just walked in the room. Are you open to hearing from them? And I only had one person ever tell me no, and it was a friend of mine, and he just said he didn't believe in that stuff. But I know for him, he just wasn't ready to change his belief system, because if I had told him, and this would have been that unkindness I'm talking about, if I had just told him, it would have shattered his belief system, because he would have recognized who I was talking about, because I see them in detail. And that wasn't what he wasn't ready to change his belief system. So giving somebody the choice of whether they want to hear it or not allows them to take ownership, and then they can be like, okay, I'm willing to receive what you've got. And you're going to have some people that maybe say no at first, but maybe later come back and go, okay, I'm ready to hear what you have to say. I will honestly say this is true in relationships as well. It's not actually a kindness, even if you're aware that your partner is doing something that's self-destructive or isn't going to work out so well for them. It's not a kindness to tell them just because you know what's going to happen. Remember, we're all here on this planet to learn and to become more aware. And so when you tell somebody something that's part of their lesson, before they get their lesson, a couple things may happen. They'll resist you, and they'll like keep doing it. So a great example is like somebody's in a bad relationship and you're like, this is not going to go well for you, and you want so badly to tell them. I'll tell you this, most of the time when you tell people that, they'll stay in that relationship years longer than they would have otherwise, because you told them they should leave. Nobody wants to be told what to do. They all want to be the power and have the choice themselves. So I'm just really careful about who I tell what. And even if I get the really strong impulse to like tell somebody something, I set them up so that they can receive it okay. So who's your real bio father? Everyone needs to know that. Mother's deception is just wrong. She grew up and stopped talking to me. Yep. I'm not sure I really understand. Who is your real bio father, Venus? Everyone needs to know it. I don't actually know who my biological father is. So I don't know if that was really a question for me or yeah, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not, Catherine, I'm a little confused. I'm not really sure what cool. And yeah, I mean, if what I said doesn't ring true for you, it's okay. Throw it away. You know, you get to do you. But you asked me my opinion when you asked the question. So, and I think it's just important that you're, oh, okay, yeah. So I would just ask, can they receive it, and set them up to be able to choose rather than to just tell them outright without asking them. That's just what I do, but hopefully that contributes and helps. Cool. Cool. Okay. But that's funny. I just thought that was funny because I was like, oh, that's an interesting Freudian slip in there. I'm like, who's my real bio father? I'm like, I don't actually know. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. That's great, Catherine. I mean, again, you get to decipher how it works for you and do it your way. Me and my attitude of gratitude popping in. Always great energy from this channel. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Cool. Anybody else? Any other questions? Anything that what I talked about brought up? And how about this? Let's do this for everybody. So everywhere where you think that you have to have all the answers and that you have to do it right all the time, will you destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. What if you did it and it didn't work out so well? It's okay. You learned something and you're like, okay, well, maybe next time I'll do it differently. I totally, there was times when I've studied 19 different modalities in my life, and I was very religious about some of them. Like, I have the thing to fix you. Not that anybody's broken. It took me many years to learn that, but like people would tell me about their problems, and I'd be like, I know exactly the thing to fix you. I would throw that up on them, and then they'd be like, go away. They'd run away from me and be like, I don't want whatever it is that you're trying to like sell me or push on me or whatever. So now most of the time I don't offer people anything. But if they come to me and they ask me for coaching or they ask me for facilitation or they ask me for help, I'm happy to contribute. But I don't just go around telling everybody I can contribute because they couldn't receive it. So it's just another one of those places where I learned that throwing up on people and telling people what was my truth or what I thought I knew didn't actually create greater. So I spend most of the time being quiet. Hi, Skiz. Greetings. Hi, Wade. Welcome. That's a wonderful suggestion. I had a family walk-ins before with my coworkers 2 times in my life. I never knew how to bring it up. Yeah. Yep. You can just ask, are you open to this information? So that was a really great question, though. Thank you, Christina. Or thank you, Catherine. And glad that it contributed, Christina. Very cool. Anyone else? We're running low on time, but we'll do a few minutes of just a visualization to help lower those walls and barriers. Because I know that now that I started talking about some of this stuff, so I can feel some of your walls and barriers went back up. So let's go ahead and we're just going to close your eyes. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, but just breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Exhale out. And relax. Relax your body, relax your mind. With every breath, just relax even deeper. And just become aware of all your walls and barriers that you've erected, that you've created, that you thought were keeping you protected, that were keeping you separate, that maybe you thought were giving you some privacy. And just even for the next few minutes, let's take them all down. Destroy and uncreate them. It's okay, you built them. So you can create them again or pick them back up later. But as you lower your walls and barriers, even the ones you don't know about, expand your awareness. Expand your awareness to include the whole room. Expand your awareness to include the state or the country that you live in. Expand your awareness throughout the continent, through the oceans. Expand your awareness around the whole world in all directions. And as you expand that awareness, what are you aware of? Anytime you erect walls and barriers to protect yourself or keep yourself separate from the bad and the ugly, you also keep out all the magic, the miracles, the mysteries, the possibilities. So allow yourself to just be aware of all of it. Sure, there's some not so great things going on in the world, but now perceive all of the magic, all the possibilities, all of your psychic tools that you have available, the energies that you're aware of, the lottery tickets, the whatever. Like, what are you aware of? What do you have the capability and the ability to tap into with no walls and no barriers? Breathe in, exhale out. And maybe allow yourself to just perceive each other. Perceive everybody that's watching this now and in the future. And say hello. When you have no walls and no barriers, you can reach out and contribute energy to those that might be in need. You can receive more of the gifts and the miracles and the magic from the earth. How the wind blows through the trees and touches your cheek. Or how the earth feels underneath your feet. Who or what are you aware of? What else is possible? How much energy is contributing to you right now? And turning up all of those spiritual gifts, capacities, awareness that you already have. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Slowly breathe in and slowly bringing yourself back to the present moment, or you can just stay there in your blissed out state, practicing what you're aware of. You can do this at any point, any time. If you're ever in front of somebody and you feel some resistance, try lowering your walls and barriers and seeing what happens. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for those of you who joined us today on this adventure, stepping into psychic abilities. And if it'd be fun for you to join us on the free webinar, Psychic Development, on Thursday, love to have you. It would be great to see your face. In the meantime, have a great week, and I will definitely look forward to seeing you all, hearing you all, talking to you all next week. Have a great day. Bye. Grateful for you too, Kimberly. Thank you. Thank you, Wade.